This series of programs is about the male dancer. I was born into the dance world. My parents were both principal dancers with the Royal Danish Ballet. And I was born in Denmark, where, like in Russia and in France, it's a natural thing to dance. To be a male dancer is a proper job. But in other countries, many people have a lot of misconceptions about male dancers. The most common one is that men who dance for a living are effeminate or somehow different. Well, we are different because we're stronger, fitter, and better trained than most athletes. We have to be. Every day we try to improve. We are trained to compete against ourselves throughout our whole career. But unlike sportsmen or athletes, we never win. There might be very few performances in a lifetime when you feel this was a championship fight and you won it. But you're taught from little that you are never good enough. And that's what makes us go on and work 8, 10, 12 hours a day, every day. If you want to have an idea just how hard we have to work, I suggest the men among our viewers try to lift their girlfriend or wife above their heads, just like this. Now you mustn't strain like a weightlifter. You should smile. It should look easy. This is what we have to do many times at most performances.
My favorite sport is boxing. I can see in the stamina and the speed and the quick footwork of the champions exactly the qualities that we male dancers have to have. This is Danny Gagnon of Roland Petit's company in Marseille, in a boxing solo Roland Petit made some years ago.
The dancer's and the athlete's body are the same, in that both require muscles to be trained and skilled to be used in acquiring speed, strength, and stamina. But the dancer's body, like the ice skaters and the gymnast, has also to look good. Ballet, after all, is an art, and certain rules about proportion apply. The pleasing harmony of the limbs, the size of the head, the length of the neck, and the general good appearance of the torso. A dancer must have what we call line. Nothing must irritate the eye. You're creating a sculpture with your own body.
Come along number 3 and come along number 4.
These are the auditions for entrance at the age of 11 to the Royal Ballet School in London. If a boy wants to learn to be a classical dancer, much the best way is to start this young. And there's a very tough process of selection.
There are two different aspects. We're looking at the physique, of course, and we are looking for talent. From the talent point of view, talent means the child should be intelligent, appear to be quick to pick up the instructions, it should be musical, and it should have a very good personality with a view to performing.
Open out. All right. Fine.
On the physical side, I'm always aware of the proportions of a child, and I look at it actually from the top to the bottom. In other words, not too big a head, a nice open chest and shoulders. They should have good straight bones. Obviously, we don't want any physical defects such as curvatures in the spine. This turns up from time to time, and more people have one leg slightly longer than the other than they realize. These sort of things, with trained eyes, we can spot.
Shoulder slightly up. Oh, another ticklish one.
After the audition, the equally important medical examination.
Good frog. Now let me have it loose again. If we push him up, he is going to hollow his back. So that does pose a little problem later when he's lifting. 71 and 72, which counts the pelvis being up on the left. Little prominence on that side, but trace of a curve to the right. Up you come.
The doctor tries to make sure there's no possible weakness in his physical frame. Often very promising boys are rejected because doctors or physiotherapists or teachers have seen indications that strain or injury would result from some seemingly minor weakness in a knee or a joint if he took up classical dancing.
30. 30. Good. Right, up you get. Jump down.
Et la tête à droite. Restez. Restez.
These are the boys in the school of the Paris Opera Ballet, the oldest school in the world. During their school days, the boys will be stretched and strengthened to prepare them for their careers.
Croisez. Sur place ici. Et sur place. Et 1, 2, restez. Et 1, et 1. Hop. Et allez.
It's in the school that the dancing style of the company is first formed. In my own school, the Royal Danish Ballet School in Copenhagen, the tradition dates back to the beginning of the 19th century. Our tradition really owes everything to our hero, Auguste Bournonville. He trained in Paris and then came back to Denmark in 1830 to rebuild the Royal Danish Ballet, which had fallen on hard times. He taught his dancers everything he had learned in Paris, and in the process created a wonderful school of dancing, whose pride is still the excellence of its male dancers. A style marked by speed, elegance, and what Bournonville called a manly joy. This is a typical Danish dancer in a very typical Bournonville solo. Frank Andersen in a solo from the ballet La Ventana. There's no mistaking the Danish origins of this work. Origins marked by a lightness of the jumps and the high spirits of the performance.